Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, or whichever time zone you're in now watching this. So I just got back from work and I'm a little bit hungry. So apologies if this video is a little bit direct. I'm a little irritable at the moment. I wasn't planning on making a video, but I thought it would help some people who have asked me how to get a job teaching English abroad. It's actually pretty straightforward, and I'm going to give you 3 tips today. I'm going to assume you already know roughly job requirements for whichever country you're looking at. So a lot of countries, some countries will require you to have a college degree, some a master's degree, some won't require a degree at all. That's really up to you to do that research. So I'm just going to talk about 3 general tips on how to get a good job teaching abroad. So tip number one would be to apply for jobs that you really have no right to get. If you want a good job, you have to apply for good jobs and apply for jobs that maybe you think you don't stand a chance of getting. That's what happened to me the first time I got a teaching job abroad in Korea. I actually got a job at a private elementary school, so an elementary school where essentially rich kids go to. I didn't really have a chance to get that job, but the circumstances were that the school needed a teacher. I was available and I happened to make a good impression on the interview despite having 0 experience. So I got lucky, and you have to really try and create your own luck too. If you don't apply for the jobs, then guess what? You're not going to get them. You've got to challenge yourself. What's the point in just applying for stuff that you're going to be comfortable with and stuff that you know you can do? You need to make progression, and if you want to make progression, then you have to challenge yourself and apply for these good jobs. Tip number 2, you need to make yourself more sellable. So you've got a college degree, maybe you've even got experience teaching, whoop-de-doo. So has like 1,000 other people that have applying for jobs right now. You need to differentiate yourself from the crowd in some way. So whether that be something that you've done in the past or something that you've achieved that you can really sell on, whether that is upgrading your qualifications to a better teaching qualification, or even a master's degree, or whether that is taking the initiative and conducting a research study yourself, or setting up a program yourself, something that will differentiate yourself from the thousands of other applicants out there. Right now, my wife and I, we're starting a teaching YouTube channel. You can head on over to that now if you want to know more about teaching. I'll link that. And right now we're just doing it to help other people, help other teachers, but if it grows, hopefully it will grow. And that will be a good tool to sell ourselves as well if we end up staying in this field and working as English teachers for the long term. The last tip number 3, is really for anyone that is already teaching. Actually, it's for anyone that is doing any line of work at the moment, because I got told it way back when I first started teaching, and it's a really valuable piece of advice, but make a good first impression and maintain that impression. Because if you make yourself invaluable to the employer, then your job, your existing job, is going to become a good job, because your employer can't afford to get rid of you, because they're going to have to replace you with someone worse. If you make yourself so employable to your existing employer that they don't want to get rid of you, or they're really sad to see you go, then they're going to make you better offers in order to stick around. It's happened to us loads. We've thought, all right, this is the end of this job and we're going to move on, and then our employers come back and said, you know what, if you stick around, I'll give you such and such a money, I'll improve this, I'll do this. And sometimes we've took them up on that, and sometimes we've said, nah, see you later, we're still going, we want a new challenge, we want we want something new. But the key is making that impression and maintaining it. How do you make that impression? Part of me thinks it's about how good a job you do. You have to be competent in your job, but a massive, massive, massive part of it is relationship building. And if you don't make relationships, if you just come in, do your job and then go home, sure, like, well done, okay, good, you've done your job. Make relationships with the people that you're working with the students that you're teaching. And I'm not just talking about the people you're directly working with. I'm talking about the person sweeping the floors. I'm talking about the person serving food in the cafeteria, as well as like the vice principal and the principals and bosses and whatnot too. That's important, but everyone in the school is just as important as each other, because if those people that are doing the sweeping and maintenance are happy to see you in the morning because you brighten up their day, then guess what? That is going to be spread amongst the staff at the school, and your presence there is going to be a positive thing for everyone. You're going to become an employee that your employer doesn't want to get rid of. That was my 3 tips on how to get a good job teaching abroad or working abroad or whatever. Now I'm hungry. I'm going to go cook myself something before I get even more hangry. I hope it's helped you. If it has, if you want to see more content about teaching abroad, working abroad, living abroad in general, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.